So,
Yeah. Do you think that perhaps we can go back to the relationship between the Jews and the Palestinians? You know, I had a friend of mine telling me that, well, clearly it's just as simple as that you've got a Palestinian whose cousin was killed, so therefore he wants to kill a Jew, and you've got a Jew whose cousin was killed, and he wants to kill a Palestinian. Is that indicative of the situation there? Is that what it is?
look, it's a matter of education. It comes down to an issue of education, and it was part of the Oslo peace process that both sides were supposed to educate their population for peace and coexistence, regardless of what had happened prior to that. And I can tell you that on the Israeli side, at least in the Israeli schools where my children go to school, there's actually very little mention of the conflict at all in the school, and they're not educating the kids regarding the conflict whatsoever. They're learning math, and they're learning history, and they're learning science. The problem is that on the Palestinian side, a lot of these schools, even in their science and math courses, as has been evidenced by some of the books that have been gotten a hold of by those monitoring the process, they're being taught to hate the Jews, and that if you had a family member that was killed by the Jews, then the Jew is your enemy.
Mm.
So it's a matter of education. I mean, the children are going to grow up to believe what they were taught.
Mm. Is it true to say that Palestinians mostly hate Jews, and the Jews mostly hate Palestinians, or is it just sort of a one-way street?
I would say that's not true at all.
No.
I would say that that's the way the media paints it.
Yeah.
But it is by and large true of a young generation of Palestinians, those who are 20 years and younger, who
Like the
grew
stone
up.
throwers. Is that that's what we're talking about? A lot of the kids who get in trouble with throwing stones and stuff.
But they have grown up since the Oslo Accords, since this systematic education began, which came with Yasser Arafat and the PLO. Prior to that, that wasn't the education they received. So the younger generation is steeped in that, unfortunately. The older generation, by and large, don't hate the Jews, and the Jews, by and large, don't hate them. Look, in any multi-ethnic society, especially in a small land like that, there's going to be some racial tension. It's unavoidable. Okay, and especially then when you bring religion into the picture.
Yeah.
So there is racial tension, and there's always going to be. And there's going to be racists on both sides, but by and large, the average Jew doesn't hate the Arab, and the average older generation Arab doesn't hate the Jew.